Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I want to introduce you to my new sponsor partner, XRPL HQ. This is going to become the central hub for the XRP community. At least that's the goal here. What he is doing here is he's creating slots for people that are building things on the XRP ledger right here on the or people that are involved in the XRP community, company that are building companies. He's going to have in other words, at the beginning of my show every day, you'll see this, and so you'll see any companies that are promoting here through his website, and you can he's got it set up easy. Right now, he's got all these companies up, and I don't think these are his sponsors right now. This is just to show you what it'll look like. These will, unless they become his sponsors, then they'll be removed after a while, I guess. I'm assuming that. But he's got a promote here button, so if you wanted to sign up, today's the day, because I know these slots will be taken within probably the day. But he's got the sign-ups here for you. But I want to show you, this is not just a place to promote companies building on the XRP ledger and stuff like that. He's got them divided into categories here. He's got payments companies, wallets. He's got DeFi, content creators, exchange. So all these spots, my understanding is that these aren't taken yet, but they probably will be in short order. And then he's got, as you go down the page, you'll see, actually I don't want to show you that. First, he's got, I'm going to cover the markets every day from this. So he's got a page that shows you the what's going on in the markets, the XRP price, 47 cents, shows you all of this, okay? Then he's got an XRP rich list. That's huge too, rich list for XRP community. You can go in here, you can input, let's say that you had 5,000 XRP, you can hit search to check your wallet rank, and once you do that, it'll come up here. You're ranked 87,874 out of 1.55 million. Now, understand, there are some, I think that what he told me, let me see. I think that in this calculation, I can't remember if he's got it written down in here. I think he's excluding the wallets that have like under 50 XRP, because there's a lot of wallets that had that reserve, that 20 XRP reserve. So I think those are being excluded here. Then it shows you, anyway, shows you wallet rankings and all that. But also, he has included the XRP calculator. This is the calculator. Look, he may have a sponsor already, the BPM wallet. But he's got the calculator. This is the XRP price calculator that's based on the Susan Athey, Robbie Mitchnick, who left and went to BlackRock, their valuation model, okay? If you hit calculate now, he's got the default assumptions. Oh, look at that. Value of XRP, $1,632.35 based on his default numbers here. So that's not a prediction. That's just what his default was set to. Don't get upset. Okay. So anyway, moving along, and by the way, this is at xrplhq.com. And I'll have a link in the top of the description to this website so you can click on it and go see it. Now, there's one other thing you need to know that he's going to do. He's going to be putting on a conference. You know how all the Bitcoin, Ethereum maxis have consensus? Well, he's going to be putting on a conference that's sponsored by the XRPL headquarters, HQ, and it'll be a conference to be like the consensus for the XRP ledger. How about them apples? So that's what's going on. Now check this out. BlackRock refilled its Bitcoin ETF application with NASDAQ this week, this time naming Coinbase as its surveillance sharing partner. The refiled application now joins the ranks of several other updated submissions from industry players. Right on cue, Jay Clayton goes on CNBC this morning to promote Bitcoin. You know, I just couldn't do it back when I was SEC chair, but now I'm starting to get it.
Done the best job you could.
Now that I can make money off of it.
If you watch with interest as blue chip firms have decided that they want to get involved with Bitcoin or crypto?
Well, give me a minute. It's a fascinating etymology. Let's go back to like 2015, 16. This is an offshore, retail, nothing close to what I would say the core of our financial markets. At that time, if you look at trading of Bitcoin, the emergence of Bitcoin, it looked like stocks, but it was nothing like it. Now we've seen a development all the way to the point where companies whose reputation in the market matters are saying, you know what, we think that trading, we think that the custody, we think that those protections around this market are sufficient that we're willing to put our name on it and offer that product. That's actually an incredible development, not one that I expect.
Let me translate for you. I thought Bitcoin, Jay Clayton, back then thought that Bitcoin was a bunch of bull and that it was probably something nefarious. But now, because Wall Street has put their stamp on it, now it's legit. And now it should be, now crypto is legit, right?
I was very skeptical of trading in the Bitcoin market when I was SEC chair. I thought, there were studies that 90% of it was wash trading right from it.
And since that time, my Wall Street buddies have convinced me of otherwise. Then Jay Clayton, who worked on the Alibaba IPO, which is CCP related, and gave Ethereum the free pass, which is CCP affiliated, and filed the lawsuit against Ripple, which is an American company, thinks we need to work with the CCP.
China, Secretary Yellen is over there. Are we?
She's over there.
We started.
She's not just over there. She's over there bowing to the CCP.
Thinking Chinese stocks again. I mean, there's people like Kyle Bass think you're out of your mind with the, less stringent regulatory oversight and sort of avoiding some of our regulatory oversight here. Is it? Right. Are we friends again?
Yeah. Well, don't forget, it was Jay Clayton that made it easy. That basically allowed the Chinese companies to not even have to check the same boxes that American companies were doing. Folks, this is some bad stuff.
Okay. I love Kyle because he does his work. You see, he digs in, he does his work. We had 2 cabinet secretaries go to China in the last 3 weeks. What are that telling us? We have a time of...
Well, it might tell us that the President of the United States has been bribed by them. Nobody on CNBC seems to want to cover that. That's a pretty important factor, don't you think?
Location.
That's not, look, this is stuff where they're finding bank account records that they've got a money trail. This isn't like, oh, you're mad because that person's a Democrat or what. No. Jay Clayton himself was appointed by Trump, okay? I don't care what, I think that both sides of our people in Washington have been compromised.
In the global economy. They recognize that we need China, and China needs us in order to get through this period of dislocation.
Get down the rhetoric more than anything, right?
In order for China not to dump our U.S. treasuries, maybe. All right. Then we've got Michael Saylor. See, here's the problem with the whole Bitcoin Ethereum thing, folks. There's several problems. One is Bitcoin was created by a government. Go ahead and write it down. But the bigger problem is, why do they want you to think that it was not, and why do they want you to think they don't know who Satoshi is when they do?
No, I mean, if they are unregistered securities, they are. Like, if I actually create my own token and I keep a lot of it and I sell some to the world and I manipulate the price of it and I don't tell you how many I have, and then I change the protocol to give myself more without telling you, that was an unregistered security, right? So if someone notices that and they object to that, then, all they're doing is observing the fact that I'm attempting to manipulate the securities market. I wouldn't endorse that. Would you endorse penny stock schemes if someone launched a penny stock and they were obviously manipulating it to their benefit?
More contentious question is, who owns all of that Satoshi Nakamoto stuff? My theory has been from day one that this was a combination of the GCHQ in the UK and the NSA in the US that built this. Now, I spoke to the Department of Defense several times over the years, and they don't know where Bitcoin came from, but they kind of are open to the idea that it came as a parallel system that was built as a just in case by state actors themselves, knowing that it's decentralized, but if they can play a central role in it, it's okay. So, I don't know, maybe that's the stake that they already own.
No, that's bad. I'm just trying to compare or sort of gel the two analogies between the sawdust-infused donuts, where the mayor wouldn't sort of relegate them to outside the city border, and open networks being required to register.
Yeah, I think the issue here is one of, are you truthful in what you're selling? If I told people...
You mean like, are you truthful? Are you going to tell the truth about the fact that you know who the 4 Satoshis are?
If I tell people that they're...
And how much they own and control?
There's sawdust in the donuts. Right? I mean, it all...
And by virtue of them being a central authority, it is a security?
Comes down to, have you fully... If you're selling a security to the public, have you disclosed to the public the risk that they're taking to buy the security?
That we're eating sawdust.
We looked at Bitcoin was the most prevalent at that point. We had seized quite a bit of it, millions of dollars worth, under the Silk Road investigation. So one of our agents who started looking at another online marketplace through the deep web, which was called Black Market Reloaded, they were sending weapons through packages.
Anyway, they go on to say that, you know, I've played that video before. They go on to say that there were 4 Satoshis and they met with them, okay? Why does Michael Saylor and Max Kaiser, why do these guys who are Bitcoin maxis through and through, why will they never address this? What do you think? These guys either know exactly what's in this video and they know all about it, maybe they're even they work with the people that know all this, or they don't know and don't want to know, in which case they've got a big problem on their hands. Either way, they're not telling the full truth. Then you got this, speaking of not telling the full truth, from Truth Labs. This guy's been putting out some stuff. If you only knew how much the CCP controlled Ethereum, ERC20s, and the long list of others. Below is a sample of our bridge to truth we have been working on and will share with you later at a later date. Stay curious, my friends. Here's his bridge to truth. Vitalik Buterin, Wang Zhang right here. Leads to 1, Deng Chao, Hashkey Capital CEO, Prometheum, Wang Zhang. Remember the Prometheum CEO totally downplaying the involvement of the CCP, and then we went back and found his own words where he talked about how they had 50 engineers that worked on Prometheum. And then they went and changed some documentation at the SEC as if that would just that would cover over the fact that you had 50 Chinese engineers that developed your entire system. Oh, come on. Come on. Then you got this from John Deaton. Once we're in a sane regulatory environment, I 100% agree. Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple implemented the cryptographic escrow and started publishing XRP reports every quarter, identifying XRP sales. The SEC, however, used all this transparency against Garlinghouse and Ripple. Interestingly, Hinman was asked if he and the SEC had found out how much Ethereum Joseph Lubin, Vitalik Buterin, Consensus Ethereum owned at the time of the speech. And he testified that they did find out during their due diligence when evaluating Ethereum, but could not remember the numbers or the percentages regarding token ownership. So in other words, Hinman and Clayton and the SEC at the time, they were real finely tuned in to exactly what Ripple had and what the XRP was. But he gets real foggy. Reminds me of when Bill Clinton said, I do not recall. It depends on what the definition of is. They get real fuzzy when they start talking about who owns what on the Ethereum thing, even though they did the due diligence. So now what that tells me is that they did the due diligence to find out who the disguised whales were. But he just can't recall those numbers. And finally, let's finish up right here. Because look, folks, the dirty little secret is the 3 areas where the real secrecy resides is where the SEC won't go. And that is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Tether. Go figure. Mainstream crypto media is dead silent on Tether depegging. And notice, the mainstream media, CNBC, will not touch any of the topics I'm talking about. They won't touch Tether and how shady that whole thing seems to be, the lack of transparency, the disguised whales on Ethereum, or the 4 Satoshis. They won't touch any of those stories. Does that tell you anything? Same network that's telling you we ought to be buddies with CCP. Mainstream, remember, Maria Bartiromo of Fox Business is the only anchor I've seen even cover any of this CCP stuff. CNBC won't even talk about it. You got a potential bribed president of the United States and they won't talk about it. And that's not a problem for anybody? Mainstream crypto media is dead silent on Tether depegging on Binance. This is major news. Let's not forget that unbacked USDT makes up over 85% of Bitcoin's volume. It's essentially the glue holding everything together. Once it fails, we will see a true catastrophe. Tether depeg Mayday. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that the only reason that we out here, whatever you want to call it, citizen journalism, whatever, the only reason that we're the ones that are telling the truth and being honest about everything is because we have children and we want them to have a future. And my children don't have a future in a world of pure lies that are everywhere. And right now, our country, the mainstream media, and all these major government organizations are lying to everyone. They want my children to live in a lying future, and I do not. I refuse for my children to live in a big lie for the rest of their lives. I don't want it, and I don't think the people listening to me want that for their kids' futures. So screw them. We're going to tell the truth. Thanks for listening.